Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home of betting tips and analysis, not just on boxing, but on a wide range of sports. So please do check out the link in the description to direct you to sharpbetting.co.uk. I'm joined by Elliot. We are in preview mode. Our favorite time of the week, mate, isn't it? And yeah, a historic card going down in Times Square in New York City on May the 2nd. Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza Jr., WBO super lightweight title on the line. It's supposed the main fight, and that is what we're previewing here, mate. As always, we'll kind of go through our thoughts and predictions on the fight, and then kind of a couple of maybe pressing questions to do with Lopez and Barboza as well, and the rest of the super lightweight division. But first and foremost, mate, after you tell us how you are, please just give me your thoughts and your initial prediction right here, right now, for the Lopez Barboza fight on May 2nd.
First of all, thank you very much for having me. Thanks for that eloquent introduction. I think you know what, I hate doing prediction fights for Teofimo Lopez. I really do, because you kind of, how can you predict Teofimo Lopez? It's almost like, I feel like we say similar things. I feel like, if Teo Lopez comes in as a sort of maximum version of Teo Lopez, I'd probably predict Teo Lopez to win. But I mean, you look frankly at the Teo Lopez that kind of comes into this fight and the fights that he's kind of had leading up to this fight. Obviously, we are sort of banter around, Steve Claridge or Steve Claggett, whatever his name was last time, Jermaine Ortiz. The Claggett fight again is not necessarily a big fight. You look at Barboza, who's coming off a win against Jack Catterall away as well, when he wasn't necessarily the favourite in that fight at all. So you're looking at him actually coming into this with momentum. And do you know what I've got? The thing that does it for me is Barboza for me is not going to stop. He's not going to stop Lopez. Not got a lot of KOs. Not got a lot of power. So he's going to have to outpoint him. And I think similarly with Lopez as well. So for me, I think this will go the distance. I can, you know what, mate? I can see Barboza winning this on points. I can see. I can. I really can. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if like Teo Lopez beat him on points either. But for me, it's like I just can't. I don't know. Teo Lopez is almost like that sort of Conor McGregor character. It's like you can't predict what's going to happen, and you sit there going, not really, like, doesn't seem to be living the life that well either. Even though he's obviously in good shape. Like boxers tend to be just in good shape, don't they? Like they kind of sort of bring it back very quickly. So I'm actually going to go with Barboza on points. Are we? Are we in agreement, Paul? Are we? I might be a split, Paul. It might be a split. I'll caveat it because your eyebrows have raised. But from that, I can see that maybe you're not in agreement with me. But where are you going with this, Paul? Talk to me.
Yeah, it's everything you've said there is what I was kind of thinking. And I have to be honest, I was thinking that you were going to go with Teo Lopez, right? And I was going to go with Barboza, and we were going to have a split, but we're actually aligned, mate. I'm going for Barboza as well. And this is a complete change, in my opinion, on, well, I suppose both fighters. I mean, I thought Arnold Barboza would get beaten handily by Jack Catterall. I have to admit, I hold my hands up, got that wrong. I was basing that mainly off the Sean McComb fight, in which, let's be honest, he got beat. But then Sean McComb's a nightmare for anyone, just that style. He came back, he beat Jack Catterall, and he won it on away soil as well. Surprised me a lot that night. He was a lot better than I thought. And then add to that the fact that, as you said correctly at the beginning, Elliot, you just do not know what version of Teofimo Lopez is going to turn up. On his best day, Teofimo Lopez beats Arnold Barboza Jr. But when was the last time we saw Teofimo Lopez on his best day? You could argue maybe the Josh Taylor fight where he looked good. Are we gonna, if he repeats that performance, could he beat Barboza? Probably, in my opinion. But you look at his last couple, and he just doesn't seem bothered. Whether or not that's because he knows he's not going to lose the fight, that's a factor as well. I think maybe his best days were at 135. I'm not saying he's past it or anything, not, but I just think maybe 135 suited him better. We were talk of him moving up to welterweight already, so is he going to make the weight comfortably here? But super lightweight, I think that's another factor. I agree that it's going to go points. I think it'll be a razor close fight. We could get it split, a majority, a draw. Who knows? But I am actually going to agree with you, mate. And I never thought I would say this because I thought I didn't
Yeah.
really rate Arnold Barboza that much, but I'm going for a Barboza decision victory too, mate. So we are aligned on the preview show with the underdog, I would say. So yeah, guys, let us know in the comments your thoughts. Are you agreeing with that, Elliot? And I, are you thinking we're completely deluded? It wouldn't be the first time, of course. So please do let us know in the comments. Just before we round off, Elliot, I kind of do want to talk about the super lightweight landscape as it stands. So right here, right now, we haven't yet seen the Lopez Barboza fight. Talk to me about kind of how you rank the champions? Do you see Teofimo Lopez at number one? You've obviously got Richardson Hitchens has a belt. Alberto Puello has a belt. Gary Antoine Russell has a belt. You've still got your Catterall in there. Obviously Haney's moving up and stuff, so he's no longer there. But like, where do you kind of rank Lopez at the minute, and Barboza as well?
Oh, very, very tough one. I think, like you said, I think for me, this fight will almost nail who's won in the division. I think it feels like a weird thing to say, but like I could also sit here and make a sort of cogent argument for Teofimo Lopez currently being number one in this division, like based on kind of potential and kind of what you've seen previously, and if you can kind of get to those heights, you could say that. But you look at the other guys like you mentioned, Puello, obviously that Sandor Martin wins a good victory as well. Hitchens obviously beating Liam Paro, that was a good win as well. So these guys are kind of on the ascendancy, and I'm just not sure I have Lopez on the ascendancy. It's just a question of whether his level is kind of above those guys at the moment. So I think for me, the Barboza fight will tell. And I was the same as you with Barboza. I was kind of like sleeping on him a little bit, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought Catterall would win on points fairly convincingly, a kind of 8-4 split. So for me, I think this is probably the number one division fight. I think if he comes through this, having beaten Catterall and then Lopez, you'd have to probably say you'd have to have Arnold Barboza Jr. as number one in the division. And then around that, I think it's very, very close. I think there's other guys, like you say, the sort of the Russells, the Hitchens, the Puellos are all kind of in that mix. I mean, they've not necessarily got the same number of fights as the other guys as well. So maybe like the next sort of 5 or 6 fights we'll be able to tell if they can kind of mix it in and around. But I mean, it's worth probably also saying, you mentioned kind of moving up, moving around, but I would have Devin Haney as being a level above any of those guys, to be honest, if they fought in a kind of comfortable weight for both fighters. So I would still have Haney as kind of number one. But I mean, there we go. That's how I think. Arnold, this is the fight for me. Lopez versus Barboza for number one in the division.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, mate. I think if Lopez looks really good and we're both wrong, yeah, I mean, he probably is the number one at the minute. As I said, because of the Devin Haney thing, I probably have him at number one, but he is, of course, fighting on this same card against Jose Ramirez, and he's up at welterweight now. So, kind of not in the division, I suppose. And then you look at the others, I think this will see who's number one. I think Hitchens is maybe the strongest other champion, personally. I thought Gary Antoine Russell looked really good last time out. Puello, for me, is the weakest champion. Obviously, Dalton Smith could be fighting him for the end of the year. So we could have a Dalton Smith as world champion. He's maybe up there. You've still got Jack Catterall, of course, up there near the top. Just that one defeat there recently to Barboza. Could he beat him in a rematch? Absolutely, probably could. So yeah, there's a few fighters up near the top. And I suppose it's one of them where I bet you if they all fought each other, a couple of them would all take each other's O's, a couple of them would all beat each other. I don't think there would be one man who would, like, I could say with confidence, would beat every single one right now, unless we see Teofimo Lopez here in Times Square looking superb and putting on a clinic. Then maybe you'd say, yeah, actually, he's the guy. He beats everybody. What right here, right now, I can't say that with confidence. Quite a good division, an interesting division. I mean, yeah, be even further British interest if Dalton Smith can grab a world title and Jack Catterall will get back in the mix. But yeah, that's all we have time for, unfortunately, mate. That was an enjoyable video, as always, with yourself. A preview for Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza Jr. May 2nd, Times Square, WBO super lightweight title fight. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on the fight and what we've just discussed and the whole landscape at 140 pounds. As always, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not doing so already. Elliot, thanks very much for joining me, mate, and speak to you again very soon.